the Divorced Girl Smiling Podcast with your host, Jackie Pilosoff.
No one should have to go through a divorce feeling alone and isolated. That's why I created the Divorced Girl Smiling Podcast. Every show is 30 minutes, and the guests are my Divorced Girl Smiling trusted professionals. They're so wonderful. Financial advisors, divorce attorneys, mediators, divorce coaches, therapists, and more. We talk about every subject that you can even think of having to do with divorce. The podcast is meant to empower you and inspire you and make you feel really, really confident so that you can have a good divorce outcome and a great post-divorce life. You can find the Divorced Girl Smiling Podcast pretty much anywhere podcasts can be found, and always at divorcedgirlsmiling.com. So grab a cup of coffee or a glass of wine and start smiling. Before we get started, I want to tell you about two Divorced Girl Smiling trusted professionals who I think are wonderful. The first one is financial advisor Amanda Campbell. Amanda has been in the financial services industry since 2010, and she specializes in helping women who are going through a divorce and after divorce make good financial decisions, such as, should I keep the house? How much do I need to live on? Do I have to go back to work? Amanda will hold your hand throughout the entire divorce and help you become empowered. She's so wonderful. She's so warm. She's a great listener, and I really trust Amanda. If you want to learn more, you can find her on the WealthSpire website at wealthspire.com. I also want to tell you about Laurie Stern, an energetic wellness coach. Now, you might be saying, what is that? If you met Laurie, you would instantly know what it is. She just helps people become more calm and happier. And she has so many methods that she works with people on, such as yoga, Reiki, chakra balancing, customized workshops, just to help you shift your energy. I love Laurie, and she is infectious in her energy. If you want to learn more about what she offers, go to her website, which is customdesignedwellness.com. And you can find both Amanda and Laurie in the Trusted Professional section of Divorced Girl Smiling. You know what your most valuable asset is in divorce? It's your kids. Anyway, that's what my guest said, and that's what we're going to talk about today. We are going to talk about 7 considerations about children when you're going through a divorce. Now, my guest is Michael Cohen. Hi, Michael.
Hello, Jackie. So good to be here.
It's nice to do this in person, isn't it? Okay, and Michael is a divorce mediator, but I want to explain that he also went through a pretty hard divorce, and he has 3 children. And it was his motivation to become a divorce mediator because it was such a difficult experience, and he doesn't want people to go through that. So there's nobody better I can think of to talk about kids in a divorce than you, because not only did you live it, but now you're professionally working with people. Michael has had dozens of cases, even more, and helps them come up with parenting plans that are going to work for kids and going to make the parents happy and help couples who are divorcing have a good co-parenting relationship. We are going to talk about 7 considerations about children when you're going through your divorce. And they're a combination of what Michael has learned personally, but then also with the clients that he's worked with. So the first one is, you have come to terms with your divorce, but your children have not. Are you trying to say that people, because if someone's getting divorced, they knew that they were getting divorced probably for years or months, but the kids are usually shocked. So tell me about that.
Yeah. Think about the process that it takes to go through divorce. Like, a lot of times you're feeling unconnected. and you go through that for a long time. Potentially, you have conversations with your spouse, things don't go well, you try to work on it. Maybe one of you suggests separation, but this takes place over months and years. So by the time you're ready to tell your children that you're getting a divorce, you've gone through all the processes, all the emotions, and you've come to this point after a lot of effort. But your kids are probably hearing it for the first time. They might have sensed things aren't good, but they're hearing it for the first time. So think about all the effort that you needed when you were getting ready to accept this. Your kids take some time to accept it as well. So give them time. They may need support. They may need professional support. Maybe more tangibly, the one thing I would suggest too is don't be in a rush to introduce a significant other to somebody. I mean, in your mind, you can't wait to get divorced and start to date, but your kids will not understand that. They will be hurt if you're dating. They'll feel anger towards you for hurting their other parent. They need time to catch up to where you are emotionally.
Okay, now that's such a good point you bring up about how kids being shocked. I want to tell people listening that even if your kids say to you, well, mom, we did kind of know, we were expecting this, that might be true, but really they weren't. I mean, they were and they weren't. So even if they say to you, yeah, we're not really that surprised because they've heard the fighting, they've seen the disconnection, but they still haven't processed it, and the fact that you're actually doing it could be a shock to them. So really they're starting at like square one, even if they did sort of know you were going to get divorced.
Yeah, they may have felt it coming, but it's not until you tell them you're getting a divorce where all of a sudden they're thinking, where am I going to live? Am I going to the same school? Am I going to see dad? There's so many things that all of a sudden become really clear to them, and it's scary. I mean, you were scared too when you first thought about this.
100%. Okay, next consideration are you are on stage as the parents you want your children to believe you will be. What does that mean?
Yeah, so I could guarantee you, every couple that I work with, when they tell their kids they're going to get divorced, they say, don't worry, we still love you, and we're still going to always be here for you as parents. Well, if your actions don't line up with that, your kids aren't going to believe you. So take advantage of the time before you tell them, and definitely after you tell them, to both come together and be proactive and be cordial, respectful, and helpful to each other, because otherwise your kids won't believe you. If you're not talking, if there's tension in the house, and then you tell your kids, don't worry, we still love you and we'll still be here together for you, the kids aren't going to believe you because they don't see it.
You're
So,
sending mixed messages.
exactly.
Okay, but how do you do that when you're so angry that you can't even look at your spouse? Like you're so angry. I mean, you and I both went through divorces, so we know you can't even look at the person. How do you fake it like that?
You just have to remind yourself your kids are more important than anything. You have to. Who's the adults in the room? I mean, I understand. I understand emotionally it's really hard. It takes people, it takes proactive planning, it takes being mature, it takes taking the high road. It takes putting thought to it before you tell the kids, and you both have to come together. You are getting divorced. I hate to say this. You're getting divorced. You're ending your romantic relationship, but you're still parents. So, do you want to be the parents you want your kids to have, or do you want them to be the adults and you become the children where they're hearing things that they shouldn't hear? So, it's really hard to do. A lot of couples can't do it, but this is where you ought to try to be.
I couldn't agree more. It is really hard, but the other benefit to faking it and really putting your kids first is you're going to like yourself so much more. And what I want to tell my listeners is just keep saying, I'm working towards a goal. This is not forever. We won't be in the same house forever. I won't have to look at him after a few months. So just get through it now. Try to be patient, and we know you're hurting, but you're going to come out so much better in the long run if you can fake it in front of the kids.
Well, and it is faking it, but it is also recognizing that your role as parents is still one that you want to be loving and connected for your kids. You want them to have the best parents they can have. So you're faking the interactions with your spouse because that relationship's ending, but you're still your children's parents. So be there if you want them to believe that you're there for them together, be there for them together.
You're listening to the Divorced Girl Smiling podcast. My name is Jackie Pilosoff, and I'm your host. Today, I'm here with divorce mediator Michael Cohen of Michael's Mediation. If you want to learn more or consult with Michael or work with him, you can find him at michaelsmediation.com, or you can find him in the trusted professional section of Divorced Girl Smiling, divorcedgirlsmiling.com. Michael and I are talking 7 considerations about children that he has learned through personal experience and through his clients' stories. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we have 5 more. We'll be right back. Getting divorced can feel so overwhelming, and the last thing you're probably thinking about is your will and estate plan. But Raquel Lazar Paley says that she can't stress enough how important it is to start working on a new will and estate plan as soon as possible. And that might mean during your divorce, because a divorce can take months, even years before it's final. And if something happens to you during that time, your ex could still have decision-making authority over your health. Raquel Lazar Paley is a California-based wills and estate planning attorney. She's so wonderful, really trustworthy. I would give her a call for a consultation. If you want to learn more, go to paleypren.com. I also want to tell you about a wonderful real estate professional in California. His name is David Flettis, and David is based in the San Diego area. He's been a real estate agent for over 17 years, and he and his team are committed to building relationships and delivering results to their clients. So if you're thinking about selling your house, or you want to buy a new home in that area, or both, you can contact David, and I promise you, you are going to love talking to him. You can find him at teamflettis.com, and you can find both David and Raquel Lazar Paley in the trusted professional section of Divorced Girl Smiling. Welcome back to the Divorced Girl Smiling podcast. My name is Jackie Pilosoff, and I'm your host. Today, we're talking about 7 considerations about children when it comes to divorce. My guest is Michael Cohen. Michael is a divorce mediator and the founder of Michael's Mediation. He has done extremely well, and my personal opinion of why he's been so successful is he went through a completely litigious divorce. It was a terrible experience. He has kids, he understands, and he's on a mission to help people get better parenting plans and have better co-parenting relationships to help kids. All right, number 3 of the considerations for kids. Kids don't want to hurt either one of their parents, so don't put them in the middle. This is huge.
Yeah, it's really hard not to because when you're going through divorce, your spouse or your former spouse is constantly adding stress to your life, and it's hard not to let it out. But kids just don't want to be in the middle. And I learned this, unfortunately, myself. I mean, I tried to take the high road as best I can, but my kid's mom did terrible things regarding the kids, and I tried to take the high road. But there was an occasion I was in the car with the kids, and I remember just saying, "Guys, your mom," and before I can even get the words out, the kids just stopped me point blank, like, "Dad, we don't want to hear it." They just don't want to hear it because they love both parents and they need both parents. So it takes a lot. It takes really being the best adult you can be. There's certain things that are adult topics and there's certain things that are kids topics, and they really don't want to hear anything that disparages either parent.
I could not relate more to you. I have had my kids say, "Mom, we don't want you to ever say anything about Dad. We're sick of it." And I completely understand. And I'm like, "But I just want you guys to understand." And they're like, "We don't care." So it's really the hard truth. Your kids love your soon to be ex no matter what. He could be the worst husband in the world. He could have cheated, abused you. Whatever he did, your kids are always going to love him. And same with you, by the way. They're always going to love both of you. We know it's hard. We're sitting here telling you we did it. We don't want you to do it because we don't want you to have a bad outcome and bad co-parenting relationship. We're trying to help you not be like us. But everybody does it. So if you're sitting here listening and you're thinking, well, I've already done it, it's not too late. Just stop doing it as much as you can, as have we.
Right, right. I mean, I'd like to think we both took the high road as much as we can, but it's human nature. Just try to minimize it.
Well, there's so much hurt. And you know what it is? You're going to relate to this. It feels like there's no justice
Mm.
and you want it to be fair. And you're like, but they're being tricked. And you want them to know the truth. But the thing is, they're going to figure it out anyway. They're going to see the good in you and they're going to see the bad in you. They're going to see the good in your ex spouse and they're going to see the bad in that person. And that's just the fact. So you just can have peace knowing that.
And I think it's not that they're going to figure it out. I think they know it. They just don't want to address it. They
Right.
want peace between their parents.
Because let's think about us with our parents. Would you want anyone to say anything negative about either one of your parents? I mean, you know what their negatives are. There's things about my mom that drive me crazy, but I love her more than anyone. But I don't want someone else to say anything. If someone else said anything, I'd be like, that's my mom,
Right,
you know?
exactly,
So,
exactly.
okay. Moving on to number 4, which is your children's friends and social life are important to them. This is a big one too.
Yeah, I mean, I talk a lot of people, professionals talk about this, where the parents are going to live after the divorce. And frankly, a lot of parents want to stay in district, right? That's easy because then you stay with your friends. But even when the kids come to see you, a lot of parents miss them, right? You might not have seen them for a few days, so you want to do everything with them. But depending on the age of your kids, once they start to have friendships in a social circle, that's important to them. That's their support circle. So when they're in their 8, 9, 10, early teens, their friends are really important to them. So even though you haven't seen them for a while, invite their friends over, plan a party with your friends, encourage them to be with their friends. They don't have to be with you 24/7 just because you miss them. They're still developing, they still need their support circle. And they're going to respect you more if you respect them in their social circles as well. And I think it helps everybody.
I would say age 11. That's the age. They start to get all these friends. They don't even want to be with you. It's so hurtful, especially if you're getting divorced and you're not seeing them all the time. Because think about it. If your kids are older and they start going out with friends, you have your husband. So it for people who are married, no big deal. You're happy. You're like, oh, the kids are out. Let's go on a date. Let's have fun. But when you're getting divorced, it's so lonely. It's so depressing. You're like, this isn't fair. But what you just said about kids wanting to have a social life is that's very healthy for them.
Mhm.
It would be worse if a kid wanted to sit home every weekend. So be happy that they're social. Not only respect it, be thrilled about it because it's a really good, normal thing in life.
It is. One thing I did that I still smile about, I love my kids. I didn't have them as much as I would have liked. And my son was just getting into poker at the time. And he wanted to have a poker party for his friends. So I had moved out of the house. I was in a townhouse. I got the clubhouse. Oh my God, we had snacks, we had cards. He invited all his friends over. It was such a fun time. And I got to sit there and just supervise and watch and see his enjoyment. And he had the best time ever. And that's what I'm saying. Give them opportunities to still have their lives. And that's important.
I love that idea. And then the other thing is just make sure you just tell your kids from time to time, I'm going to give you this date and time. I want to do something special, either for a birthday or a holiday, and let's just have it be us. And then they won't mind if it's on the schedule and they know about it ahead of time. Number 5, follow your children's passions, not yours. The poker game example is a great one.
Yeah, there's a lot of these. And I tell this to all my friends all the time because it's benefited me. Um, I think a lot of parents have a lot of things that they're passionate about, whether it's sports or I'm thinking as a dad, sports or going out and playing ball or maybe for a wife, it's let's get our nails done or let's go shopping, let's get our hair done. I don't know. I'm not trying to be stereotypical here, but um, the better thing to do, I think, is listen to your kids, really listen to what's important to them and support them and do those activities together because as kids get older, they want to do their own things. And it goes back to that same comment from before. You miss your kids, you haven't seen them, so you want to do things and you have all these ideas, but try to follow what they're interested in because in the long run, they're going to be more connected to you if you're helping them follow their passion. And you'll be surprised. Their passions will become your passions. It's happened with me. Some of the things my kids have been into, I followed and supported what they want to do. Now it's some of my favorite things to do too. And we do it together as adults now. So just listen to your kids, see what they want, and help them along.
Yeah, when my son was young, we kind of pushed the basketball because he's really tall. And we pushed and we pushed and we pushed, and he wasn't even into it. He didn't like it that much. And so, big mistake. We should have just let him do I mean, eventually we just let him do what he wanted to do. But it's so disappointing sometimes for parents to see that their kids aren't into the same things they are. But if you just embrace your child and say, wow, he or she is their own person and they get to decide what they love. And then it becomes really, really nice. Next one is opposite sex and same sex parents matter to children. Okay. So I think what you were saying is let's say you have a son and a daughter, like I do. Your son wants to have a relationship with his father. Your son wants to have a relationship with his mother. Daughter, same thing.
Yeah. And I share this a lot in my sessions, but this goes to how you treat each other and how you build each other up. So in divorce, oftentimes spouses end up tearing each other down, which is like the worst thing you can do because if you're a boy, your father is the person you strive to be as a man, and your mom is somebody who sets the bar for who you want in a romantic partner. So if those two people are being put down, you've just lowered the bar for your children. And the same thing for a daughter. She strives to become the woman her mom is, and her dad is the bar by which she's going to judge all of her future romantic partners. So it's your obligation as parents to build each other up because as you build each other up to your children, you're raising the bar for who they're going to want to become and who they're going to accept as a partner. So it's really, I think if you think about it in those terms, you're more likely to highlight your former spouse's strengths so that your children strive and raise their own bars.
Okay, well, that is something I have done a lot over the years. Like, I'll say to my kids, like, Dad is the funniest person. Doesn't he have a great sense of humor? He still cracks me up. And my kids are like, oh, Mom, I know. He is so funny. Like, so it's good to say good things about people. I mean, I could make a list of everything bad and we'd be here for 2 hours. No, I'm just kidding. But, if you can find the good in your spouse and find the good traits and share them with your kids, it goes a long way.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, you have to talk about yourself in a positive way also. Like I know I sometimes would go like, "Oh, I'm so stupid. I can't believe I just did that." You don't want your kids to hear that. It's good to say to your kids like, "Wow, I just got promoted at work. I'm doing really well and it's cuz I'm trying so hard and cuz I love what I do." Share that kind of stuff with them. Positive things, positivity, a lot of energy so that they can see the good in you and that you think of yourself that way too.
Yeah, and I agree. And the reason I put this on the article is human nature is to not I mean, you're divorcing somebody, you're upset, you're angry with that person, but try to find it in your way when you're with your children to build that person up because it'll affect your children positively in the long run.
For sure. Okay, last one is co-parent, don't parallel parent. Now that's interesting because I have had people say to me like parallel parenting is an option. So first tell the listeners what parallel parenting is.
Yeah, so parallel parenting is when you're both great parents, but you're individual. You're both going your own path. There's not a lot of collaboration or communication. You're both great parents, but you're not really working together. Co-parenting is when you're collaborating on everything, you're communicating, being flexible, helping each other out. You're often with the children saying, hold on, let me check with mom. Let me get back to you. We decided this. So you're showing your parents that you're still working together. So when you get divorced, your kids are going to have two options. If you parallel parent, they're going to have mom over here and dad over here. And when you co-parent, they've got parents together. So what I usually tell my clients is if you parallel parent, there's this huge gap between the two of you. And that's where kids sometimes develop bad habits, hang out with the wrong friends because there's no cohesive control over the top of it. But when you're co-parenting and you're collaborating and working together and the kids know you're a team still for the children, they're more likely to follow the way you want them to develop because you're working as a team. You're both going to hold them accountable. You're both going to guide them together and they're going to know you're working together. So some people can't co-parent, right? If you can't communicate, you have to parallel parent. But my hope is that many couples find a way to work together.
For sure. The example I think of is kids will push the limits. And if they know both their parents are on the same team with the punishment, the consequences, the the discipline, they're going to turn out to be better kids. They're going to fear because a team is a lot stronger than an individual. So, I know that if my kids know that their dad and I both have an opinion on something, they won't push it. So, it's so important to be a team.
Yeah.
And we know you're listening to this and you don't want to be a team. You hate this person. You're getting divorced. You can't stand to even look at them. But do it for your kids. I know it's not easy, but you will be so much happier later and your kids will turn out so much better.
Yeah. And Jack, you'll be the first to say I'm very optimistic, right? So I know this isn't easy for everybody, but these are things that I know are beneficial for the kids. And the one thing I'll say too is this is your divorce. It's not your children's divorce. So you still have a responsibility as parents. Now, sometimes you can't do that because your spouse isn't working with you. And I understand that happens. Been there, done that. But these are the ideals that I think you should strive towards. And this will minimize the effect of the divorce on the kids. And I think they'll be better off for it.
And the last thing I want to say is if you're listening to this, we don't expect you to be perfect. Nobody expects you to be perfect. We just said we're not perfect. We know you're going to mess up and make mistakes and say the wrong thing. That's okay. But if you keep these things in mind, you're going to do it less, which is going to be great.
Right, right. It's good to have a North Star that you strive toward, and these are some really important ones. Your kids are worth more than your 401k, your house, your accounts. Your kids are going to be what give you the most pleasure in life as you get older. I'm having a grandchild shortly. These are things that are just everlasting. So,
Priceless.
yeah.
I know. Well, thank you so much, Michael, for being on the show. This was a great conversation. I think people benefited from it so much.
Yeah, love doing it together too. This is great.
Yeah. And if you want to talk to Michael, have a consult or hire him, go to michaelsmediation.com. You can also find him in the trusted professional section of Divorced Girl Smiling, which is divorcedgirlsmiling.com. And you can go there to listen to more podcasts, read articles on every subject having to do with divorce, thinking about divorce, going through one, living life after divorce, dating, all kinds of things. And you can also go there to sign up for my free consult where you can tell me your story. It's a 30-minute consult. It's confidential. It's free. I listen to you, ask some follow-up questions, and then I can direct you to some great divorce professionals who can help you get the best possible divorce outcome. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. We'll talk to you real soon.